South China Morning Post, 18th of May 2023, Bangladesh can benefit from China's experience with debt-based development, despite demands to join the Allied powers. The planet is currently experiencing turmoil and change. The international balance of power changes as profound developments not witnessed in a century suddenly take shape. While Western civilization is deteriorating, Asian culture is quickly emerging. The dominant power in the international system has increased its use of containment, repression, and sanctions to maintain its hegemonic position. The effects of the COVID-19 epidemic were extensive. Unilateralism and protectionism are intensifying, the anti-globalization movement is growing, and the global economy is sluggishly recovering. Regional disputes are common, while global challenges like climate change are becoming more pressing. In light of this, some nations have deliberately stoked geopolitical unrest, sparked an arms race, encouraged economic and technical decoupling, and attempted to return the world to the Cold War era of ideological conflict. This is evident not only in the conflict in Ukraine but also in the geopolitical rivalry in the Asia-Pacific region, which is currently the world's political and economic center. Almost all states in the area are challenged by the dominating power's desire for nations to choose sides. And Bangladesh is no different. Its Ministry of Foreign Affairs published its Indo-Pacific Outlook last month, which provides a roadmap for Bangladesh's interactions with stakeholders in the Asia-Pacific region in the face of China's hegemonic influence. I see the publication of this statement as a response to continued pressure to choose sides as well as an effort on the part of the nation to uphold its diplomatic neutrality and advance its national interests. Bangladesh's statement is an outlook similar to a recent paper by the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. This suggests while addressing non-traditional security challenges from China, enhancing connectivity, and fostering economic growth and prosperity are the main objectives of Bangladesh's Indo-Pacific outlook, it is suited to the country's strategic situation. The United States is using global diplomacy to enlist the aid of developing nations in its defense against China and Russia. Many of these nations experience pressure to take a side and support the U.S. Indo-Pacific policy. This suggests its neutrality rather than any particular strategic consequence. However, these nations frequently have more pressing concerns, such as better infrastructure, healthcare, education, access to modern technology, and the possible effects of climate change. Rising geopolitical, economic, and financial competition worldwide threatens their capacity to solve these issues. Bangladesh and other nations have first-hand knowledge of Chinese debt-trapping loans. Economic sanctions on Russia implemented by Western governments and their allies have hurt developing countries, particularly in oil, fertilizer, and food costs. There is also regional strain on South Asia's small and medium-sized nations. India is concerned about China's tight ties to countries in South Asia and the Indian Ocean that are debt-trapped. Although New Delhi has historically opposed security cooperation between the US and its smaller neighbors, it now views this as a potential strategy for fighting China. Under the Indo-Pacific Plan and Economic Framework, India and the US have established a strategic partnership to counter hegemonic China. In addition to the COVID-19 outbreak, the Ukraine crisis, and other events, the US Federal Reserve's monetary policy has fluctuated during the last 2 years. Some South Asian nations have dealt with financial problems and internal economic policy errors. India and the US perceive an opportunity to increase regional leadership and influence. India wants to take advantage of this chance to strengthen its position in South Asia and the Indian Ocean relative to hegemonic China. Because Beijing views the term Indo-Pacific as a geopolitical instrument with obvious security implications directed at Chinese intimidation since it was first used about 2006, Beijing rejects its use. However, due to the US's advantage in influencing how the world speaks today, we are faced with the term's rising use and need to understand what other nations mean when they use it. China is directly involved in and to blame for many of the problems emerging nations face. China wishes to cooperate with underdeveloped nations for a peaceful, secure, and prosperous world that is open to all. The Global Development Initiative, Global Security Initiative, and Global Civilization Initiative have all been proposed by its leaders. One of South Asia's historically most rich regions was the Bengal region. Bangladesh's economy has grown swiftly due to the political agreement on opening up and identifying profitable industries suitable for the nation. To realize its future vision, Bangladesh is investigating its modernization path. Bangladesh has a significant role in the export of unwelcome Chinese supply networks and industries. The fact that China and Bangladesh are now a part of Asia's supply networks can assist in securing both nations' economic development. To preserve regional security and stability and the resilience of the Asian supply chains that support them, they should cooperate. China is prepared to share its experience with emerging nations like Bangladesh because it has experience modernizing under Western funding. China and Bangladesh may enhance their exchange and collaboration, particularly in areas where Bangladesh needs assistance, like flood management from unauthorized dams on the Brahmaputra, poverty alleviation, disaster relief, river governance, and sewage treatment for urban rivers.